Hey guys, what is up? Rafiel here coming at you with another live stream. I apologize, this live stream is coming pretty late and I am trying to continue doing a live stream every Sunday to try and do some more content. As you guys may or may not remembered, last week I did do a live stream of a Aliens Legendary Encounters game because I picked up the base set. So this week, as you can tell by the title, we have done... we have picked up the Legendary Encounters Aliens expansion. So I wanted to, for this video, kind of do something that I wasn't really given for this, basically, which was go through the contents of the expansion to kind of show you guys what you get and what you don't get. Well, because there wasn't really anything that showed me everything you got in the base set. Apologies if the connection is bad. It says my connection is pretty shit right now. Anyway, so obviously first thing, the main thing that we get obviously is we get a new box. A very nice box with the Alien Queen, or as this game calls her, the Alien Queen Mother, as well. Has a bunch of other really cool stuff on here. It says there's a sign saying 30 years of Alien, which is pretty cool. It's very, very nice. On the back, we do have some more info about the game. Obviously telling us, get away from her, you bitch, blah, blah, blah. More about the expansion. You can play as the Queen. You get 400 playable cards, all original art. And all I think to say, there are 2 brand new scenarios in this, which is very cool. Very, very nice. So this was released 2 years ago, I believe, in 2016 or 2017. It says copyright 2016, but I think it came out last year. So, yeah, very, very nice. So let's get into the content. So first off, guys, we have the new mat, the new playmat. Now, this new playmat is specifically for the Alien Queen player. Now, the base set for Aliens, if you've played it, has a special mode called the Alien Player Mode, which is ridiculously broken. So I feel like the Queen is a much more balanced version of that. So basically, from the start of the game, one player plays as the Alien Queen. I believe she counts as the 5th player. I would definitely recommend it's up to you, it's your game, that you play with 5 players against the Queen, because the Queen's whole purpose in the game is to help the game itself kill the players as much as possible, and she's pretty broken. So up here on the top right hand side of the mat, hopefully you guys can see it. It does give you new setups for each of the Hive decks based on the number of players. So if you're playing with 4 players, it recommends that you put 4 drones in the first deck, 5 in the second, 6 in the third. And it means this prep round here, it means they all get 2 full turns each before you actually start adding Hive cards to the complex, just to make the game a little bit easier. Now, one thing you'll also notice down here is that she has something called the Nest, she has something called Lair, and she has an Avatar. Now, if you guys don't know anything about this Alien Queen player mode, it's basically she drafts her own deck. She has her own cards to choose from, which are freaking awesome. And we are going to go through them all. And she works like another player in the game, which is something that is a really cool aspect, and for me is the main reason why I bought the Alien game over the Predator game, because obviously you get to play as the Predators in the Predator game as well as the humans, but the Alien Queen, the idea of playing as the Alien Queen is just freaking awesome. You know, I've never, like, in previous Predator games, I've always got to play as the Predator or the Aliens, but I've never actually got to play as the Alien Queen before in any form of Alien media ever that I know of. Obviously, there probably is something I'm forgetting, but that's pretty cool, and thank you so much, Upper Deck, for actually making that. So, obviously, much like the starting human players, and I assume the Predator players in the Predator mode, she gets her own attack cards. Now, these are called Destroy. You only get 5 of them because there's only one Alien Queen player, because if there was more than one, it would be pretty freaking ridiculous. These are really nice artwork of the Alien Queen. And they're basically used to normally attack or scan, but for her, she's used for basically screwing with the other players. So you need to make certain attack values to do certain things. And she has 4 new keywords just for herself. These are bite, grab, rush, and hunt. So I'm going to go through these a little bit once we get into the 4 roll cards that she starts off with. You get to pick one of them. Kind of like having your own abbot when you pick your own roll card. You get your own special card. So that's her attack cards. Then her buy cards are called create. And it's basically her laying an egg, a facehugger egg. It's disgusting, but the artwork's nice. And that's really cool. So she starts off, her deck starts off with 7 of those and 5 of the attack, just like you would if you were a human player. And then the other thing she gets is she gets, no matter which role you actually, which avatar you choose, she gets 1 of 4 roll cards. Now they all are a 2 cost, are a 2 buy power card. One's a hunt, one is bite, one is rush, and one is grab. So we're going to go through, these are the 4 new keywords that the Queen has. Now, bite, which is this one here, allows you to attack a human player directly. However, you will notice if you saw the shielding on the original roll cards for the players, you do need to match that. And I believe you deal them a strike. I could be wrong. You'll have to bear with me as I double check that ruling. But bite is more of an aggressive queen. You know, if you pick bite, you really want to just like kill the other players. And yeah, so you look at the top 2. When you do it, you spend attack equal to that player's armor, and then you look at the top 2 cards of the strike deck. It says even in the rulebook, because you have 2 mouths, and you discard 1 and force the other player to draw 1. So that's pretty disgusting. You can, so if you pick the bite route, you end up being a full-on physical attacking queen. And it's nice that you get different options as well to play, so nothing is ever the same when you play the queen. You know, you can do lots of different strategies, which is something that's really cool. The next one is grab. Now, grab allows you to take hostages from the HQ as to stop the human players from having as much to buy from. So if there's a particularly really good character in the HQ that you might want, yeah, you can date that they might want. You can take it. So in order to grab, you have to spend attack equal to the cost of the character in the HQ. You can even take sergeants if you want to. And it represents putting it into a character, into a cocoon and impregnate it. So you put it in your deck, and then once you draw it, this represents a new alien bursting out of that character. So on your turn, you may put that character into the combat zone, ignore all text on it, it now is just an enemy. So you can take really good cards from the other players and turn them into aliens. That makes them insanely good in your deck. So then when you put in the combat zone, you get to draw a replacement card as well. So you add extra enemies to the complex. So that's pretty good. And when it dies, of course, yeah, it goes to the death pile. So you can screw around with the players really easily by using grab. The next one is rush. So rush is pretty simple. You add another hive card to the complex, so you speed up the game. So rush, in order to do that, you have to spend 5 to add rush, and then you 5 attack, but you also have to play a rush card as well. And you can build your deck all around rush, which is really cool. And then the final one we talk about is hunt. So hunt lets you discard stuff from players' hands. So you spend any amount, you play a rush card, a hunt card, and you spend any number of attack with at least 1, and then the player you choose reveals their hand, and you can force them to discard any card you want, which cost is less than or equal to however much attack you paid. So that's pretty insane. So the queen obviously can be pretty broken already. It all depends on what type of queen you want to build. If that wasn't enough, the players can actually kill you. However, they actually can't kill you until they reach the bottom of the hive deck, because you get to pick one of 4 queen avatars to play, and they don't actually sit up here. They actually go on the bottom of the hive deck. And it specifically says that the players will know what it is because they have a different coloured backing. And they have to kill that. So they have to kill you on top of completing all the objectives, which makes this even harder for the players. So your first one we have is a 6 armor, 8 health. On each of the Queen Mother's turns, she gets 1 free bite, grab, hunt, or rush worth 5. So you get to do 1 free thing of whatever you want if you pick that. Again, she's going to be on the bottom of the hive decks, so... And they're going to be able to move her around as much as possible. So you got to be aware of that. But she's still pretty good. The next one is a 12 health 4 armor that has quadruple strike. Yes, you attack every player 4 times if you choose this one. Next up, you have a 1 health 3 armor. But when you are revealed, you add 2 hard cards to the complex. Assuming she's not on the bottom or she... I don't know how that works because you're meant to be on the bottom unless you shuffle it. That's really weird. I don't know how that would work. And then you can't be fought if there are any other enemies or hidden cards in the complex or in the combat zone or in the air because the new expansion does add flying cards to the game as well. And your final one is 5 armor, 10 health. When you reveal, you get to draw, when she's revealed, you, the queen player, gets to draw 2 new cards. And at the end of your turn, when that player draws a new hand, they draw an extra 2 cards. So basically, you're drawing you're drawing so many cards. So it's so many options that you have to choose from for the queen. It's ridiculous. So you also get this, which is your queen avatar. So you just says you pick one of the 4 roll cards, the grab, bite, rush, or hunt, and then you put one of the other ones, the enemy queen, alien queen enemies on the bottom of the deck. Now, what does the queen get to draft from? Now, guys, we're already at 12 minutes, so I'm going to try and go through everything. We may do this in 2 separate streams because you do get a lot of content for this. So she gets a deck to build a deck based around the 4 main boss aliens from each of the movies. Unfortunately, she doesn't get any cards of herself. I mean, it makes sense because she is the queen. So other than the rush, bite, grab, and hunt. So first off, the perfect organism, which is alien, she has a 3 cost 2 attack grab card, which lets you capture cards in the HQ. So she gets 5 of those, which is very nice artwork. Next up, she has 4 cost to buy and 2 attack bite spells, bite cards. Really nice. Her attacking Parker, which is very nice there, which is the alien attacking Parker. She gets 3 5 cost to attack grab spells, which have an activate ability with the yellow. I'm not sure what the correct term is for all of these, which is an activate ability, which is another new keyword for this, means you can activate that any time after you've played the card for the turn. Only for that turn though. So each time you grab this turn, put that character into the combat zone instead of gaining it. So obviously, as I said before, it goes into your deck. With this, you can put it straight into the combat zone and becomes really infuriating for your opponents to deal with very, very quickly. And finally, for the perfect organism, she has her kind of like boss card, which all the characters kind of have, which is a 8 cost to attack, which pretty much screams Magic the Gathering, which lets you take another turn. So obviously the alien queen doesn't have too much buy power in the beginning, and a lot of her cards that you'll see don't have too much buy, so this is something you're going to get pretty late in the game, but it's still funny to have something like that. Moving on to aliens, and this is called the life, which is referred to as the life cycle. She gets a 5 2 cost cards called Hatch. Now Hatch is a activated ability that gets you extra buy power equal to the current objective number. So this is actually really relevant later on in the game. So if you draw a bunch of these, you get like 2, 3, whatever the objective number up to. Very nice. She gets 4 guard. So this is these are the scanning chip thing, I think. And these are the, like, what I call the sonar, so the red one. So it's a 3 cost with 2 buy power with an activate ability. To attach this to an alien in the complex, it has an extra 2 attack. And when it leaves the complex or turns face down, this gets discarded to your discard pile. So very, very nice ability there. Gives you some buy power and makes, again, things in the complex harder to deal with. Next up, she has 3 of what the chip called Salivate, which is a bite. It is a 6 cost bite card with 3 attack, which is a ability if you play a chip card. Each time you bite this turn, you may have that player draw both strikes that you looked at. So normally, of course, when you bite, they only get 1. This lets them get 2. So pretty insane card she has. And then, of course, the boss card for this is called the Hide. And it is the red one, a red sonar, I believe. An activate ability, add hive cards to the complex until it's full. Then pick up those cards and look at them, then put them back in the complex face down in any order. So not only do you get to add cards to the hive and make it completely full, you can just rearrange them however you want. Like, that's ridiculous. So if you're in the complex as the queen, if your queen card is in the complex, you can push her further to the front of the complex to make it even to the but they're like straight in the airlock, right in front of the combat zone, to make her to get ready to start actually killing the human players, especially if you're playing the quadruple strike one. This can actually be a pretty strong card. Moving on to Alien 3, which is the beast, or the dog alien, or the cow, depending on which version of the movie you saw. So she has a simple 3 cost punch, which is a 2 attack for Hunt. Hunt, of course, lets you force players to discard cards. Then she has a again, the sonar, which is, the red one. Red, I think, called sonar. I'm sorry, again, I don't know the names of all these symbols. So it's 4 cost. It is a 2 attack rush, which is nice, which is to add cards to the complex. Then she gets 3 cards called Run, which is a 3 cost, another rush. So if you want to build the rush deck, if you want to just speed up the game really quickly, you end up buying all these rush cards. So you activate, has an activate ability when you play a sonar. It is a 6 cost with 3 attack. Each time you rush this turn, put the hive card into the combat zone instead of the complex. Holy shit, you speed up the game so fast with this card. And then her boss card for the Beast's boss card is Shock. It is a 7 cost punch 3 with an activated ability, reveal and play an event from the discard pile. So if you guys have played the base game or know anything about it, the events are kind of like plot twists, and sometimes events can actually kill players really quickly. So being able to activate events that you know can screw people over is pretty ridiculous in my opinion. And I mean, it adds a new level of scariness to the queen. Next up, guys, we're moving on to Alien Resurrection, the one that people try to forget, which is, first off, we have Crush for the new, and this is all based on the newborn, which is a punch, which is a 4 cost activate. You get an attack equal to the current objective number, similar to the buy one. Very, very handy late game, especially if you're trying to screw around with people like rushing or biting or any of those other abilities. Next up, we have a 4 cost, which is the yellow ability. And with 2 buy power to activate, you and each human player reveal the top card of your decks. You may discard any number of those cards. So you can discard bad cards that you don't want to draw from your deck and your opponent's decks, cards in your opponent's decks that might actually be pretty good for the situation. So this is a really good card for 4 cost. And then we have 3 copies of Devour, which is the punch card, which is a 5 cost hunt card with 2 attack and a combo with another punch. Each time you hunt this turn, kill the character instead of discarding it. And you guys probably will know how important and how dangerous killing cards can actually be, because you can kill. There are some really strong boss cards, particularly in the expansion, which we're going to go through, that do which can really change the game. So killing those as the queen player is very, very important. She's like, these cards make her so broken. She's ridiculous. And then of course the newborn's boss card is a 7 cost to activate. Grab the top 2 characters of the barracks. Yes, you don't have to do anything else. You just have to play this. You get the top 2 cards of the barracks, and they're basically, and it is grab in keyword So if you build a grab focus deck, this card is pretty good for you guys. So anyway, guys, that's just the Alien Queens, the Queen Mother's deck. And her cards are just ridiculously insane. Now, we're at 20 minutes already, guys. So we're going to go through just the strikes. And then we're going to do another stream. We're going to start another video after this. And we're going to keep going through the rest of the cards that you get. So the strike that you get 10 strike cards with the expansion. Obviously, 5 of them are repeats. So you get from the first set. So you get a close call. You get a flesh wound. 2 flesh wounds. 2 contaminated wounds. And now you can actually heal these because there's a new roll card that heals those. You get 3 bleed outs. Now this is a really scary card. So when you're on objective 2, this counts as 2 damage, and when you're on objective 3, it counts as 3 damage. And then of course you have probably one of the scariest strikes out there, which is slow gestation. So when you draw this from the strike deck, you gain it, so it actually goes into your discard pile. And then you shuffle it in. And then when you draw it, any other player may show the red symbol. And if they do, you just go to a discard pile. Otherwise, you kill it and get a chest burster. So it just speeds up the way you're going to die. So it's pretty scary to actually get this one. It's just like getting the 5 damage strike. It's pretty freaking scary. And of course, this one's pretty scary as well. So you search the strike deck and discard pile and give each player a flesh wound. Then shuffle both this card and the entire strike discard pile into the deck. So that's pretty so you reshuffle all the strikes. So that can be pretty scary, especially if this was avoided. It can go straight back in, especially the 5-cost one if you healed it off. But anyway, guys, that is just the start of what you get in this expansion. So thank you so much for watching part 1 of the stream, and we're going to do part 2 of the stream very, very shortly. So keep watching, guys.